Neb says good sound. All right. Looks like we're clearing the audio. Everybody can see us now. All right, so let's get started. Welcome back, everybody. You got Will and I-Man here joining us. Today's Third Eye. We got Third Eye's drop happening in about an hour, I believe. So thank you, Third Eye, for joining us. Of course, we're going to be, I guess, asking you some questions. Well, actually, we already asked you some questions via this this questionnaire, and I-Man put it together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dahlia could post that in the chat. Just a quick article, highlighting that, most of their drops have come from, architects, like legitimate, that's their main job, right? And they're figuring out ways to, establish their, I guess, presence within the metaverse, utilizing all the skills they've accrued over their careers. So Third Eye definitely has, design architecture chop that he's, I think, focused for Rovies in this particular build. So we can definitely talk about that, how this build is, intended to be, I guess, help or aid people do what you're already doing, like being like a giga host is what we like to call you, right? Yeah. Like you have over 100 metas installed in your location. So that's definitely a big priority, I think, when it comes to designing this, right?
Correct. The floor plan was left wide open due to the size of the metas and the quantity, and you want a few hollows that takes up a whole floor. So figured we'd leave the first floor for the hollows. There's a radio down there, auto dances on, so you can just hang out, dance around, watch your rovies go, and collect lube. Second floor, that could be for superchargers or other metas. Same with the third floor, and then of course the top two floors are going to be the playing arenas, the PvE and PvP. Set those up however which way you want.
Hell yeah.
So that's it, dude. That's the whole cohesive experience right there. So yeah, Third Eye has a deep understanding of like what's already out as far as, the game ecosystem components, and he also knows what's coming up next. So this build is designed specifically to host all of that content.
Yeah, but, it's really detailed too, man. I really like the whole design. I'm not sure if you had anything like inspire you, like bring all this like design color and like scheme together.
I just get in there and hit the ground running, start messing around with stuff.
Nice.
Yep. And things just start coming together, and then you kind of fine tune, and then you find the color patterns and kind of what flows and what doesn't.
I've always wanted to ask you, what's is there a story behind your name, Third Eye?
Not really. I mean,
okay.
Back in the day, I was into extracurriculars, let's say, a lot. I've expanded my mind quite a bit. I believe I have, at least.
Yeah.
for the best. And I don't know, just kind of stuck. I thought of it, Third Eye Visuals. I love art. I love creating trippy stuff and 3D stuffs, and Third Eye.
Yeah, that's cool. It reminds me of we just recently watched Doctor Strange movie, the latest one, where he actually had a third eye.
Yes.
When
that opened at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Should have said spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. My bad. But yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah. It was a pretty good movie. It was a little weird, but yeah. But I think there's a lot of history behind the third eye as well, like Egyptians and all that. So I was just curious.
Yeah, it's supposed to represent your pineal gland.
That's right.
Yep.
So yeah, the other thing is, another thing that I'm reminded of is we need to get together for the Roby call on Thursday. Get the community involved, get you on the call to Third Eye. And we have a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of economics, a lot of decisions that need to be made. So we definitely need your guys' feedback kind of like in real time. And so maybe if you're available this Thursday, we can have you come on with Trey and Greenschiffer.
That would be great.
If you have some time, of course. But that's for another call. That's for this Thursday at 10 p.m. UTC, where we have another live call with the community. So thank you guys for joining. We got JRA sharing some pictures of the third eye there. Thank you for joining, Pepe God. Welcome back from your vacation. Dahlia shared a link of the Medium article with Third Eye. Let's see.
What's going on, Pepe?
Yeah. Pepe's back. let's see. Fluoride classifies the pineal gland filter
Calcifies it, yeah.
or
All the
calcifies it.
fluoride ingestion across the globe,
Oh,
rinse and toothpaste, mouthwashes, all this other stuff.
oh, that's interesting.
It does. It calcifies it, so you can't utilize its full potential.
Dang. And so the
So how do you-
extracurricular
Yeah.
activities.
You have to just look up ways to decalcify pineal gland. There's tons and tons of articles.
Really?
Oh
Okay.
yeah, it's a big thing. It's all about like chakras and whatnot, and it's a real spiritual gland. They
Huh.
say, quote unquote they. I don't really know who they are, but
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking
it does
of,
it does come from a long line of history as well. Like
Yeah,
Will
for
was
sure.
saying.
yeah. I mean, it's on the walls. That's how long history these elements have. But speaking of I think it was it Thursday, I Man, or maybe last Monday? No, it was Thursday. We were talking about how we're part of the Illuminati group now with this Metaverse Standards Forum, and it has popped off. There's a lot of stuff going on in this Standards Forum, and we talked about last week. The main topic was, what is the Metaverse? So Third Eye, I mean, give us your kind of rundown, like, of what you think the Metaverse is, should be, could be, will be. Anything, like, just give us your thoughts on that.
So, I mean, there's the metaverses. There's Web3. I mean, Web3 as a whole is a total different ball game. Metaverses in general, you can have different variances of metaverses, styles. As Decentraland, that's more of a social platform.
Mhm.
Come hang out, relax. It's not too game heavy yet. There's some play to earn. I can see the other side coming out being more of just like a playing, like something you enjoy to play. Unreal Engine 5. You're gonna go have fun. Maybe you'll steal a golf cart or something and go do something fun with it. Who knows? And then there could be just full sway business style metaverses coming out in the future. Everyone's going to have their own little niches, and the term metaverse it can be used so broadly. It just covers pretty much all people's aspects of Web3 experiences.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I think it does merit some value to actually define what the metaverse is. And I'm curious for your opinion. I think Web3 is going to play a critical role because we've had Second Life. I mean, obviously with Roblox and all these like different type of metaverse experiences that existed in the past. I find it curious that now people want to talk about, joining the metaverse, doing metaverse things when we've had, examples of metaverses in the past. Like, why now? And so I'm implying because crypto is now. So what do you think
I think it's just the fact of the matter that people just keep repeating it and repeating it. It's like beating a dead horse. That horse isn't going to move, but after you beat it for a year or two, who knows what's going to happen? And I suppose that's a weird analogy, but people just keep hearing metaverse, Web3. Eventually, they're going to crack and check it out.
Yeah, it could be crypto,
years.
or it could be Zuckerberg, stepping into the chat, right? And everybody's afraid of Zuckerberg, like, just taking over everything. So it was like, okay, let's create this standard so that Zuckerberg just doesn't take over, right? So there could be that.
Yeah, that's going to be a huge driver on the back end from like the people who pull out. I shouldn't say pull all the strings, but the real, innovators that are backing Web3 and creating Web3 applications. They're like that forum that you were speaking on. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of top hitters there, and there's going to be a lot of cool things being discussed and planned out to combat things like, I don't even want to say his name. I think that's a huge driving force.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think Iman and I are going to be doing sort of like a weekly segment on like what's going on with the forum, because I think it's important for everybody to see what's happening, and then have some medium of like actual discussion rather than just text. So kind of looking forward to that. And there's a lot to discuss for sure. But ultimately, I think there's the metaverse definition is going to be so broad that it's going to include metaverses that are not Web 3 and that are and regular metaverses that are Web 2. And so, but I think the ones that matter are the ones that are going to onboard, segments of the disenfranchised society, right? Those who can get jobs within the metaverse. I don't think you're going to be able to have a job in like a traditional Web 2 type of metaverse. I just don't think that's going to happen. Now, of course, you can get paid. You can get paid to do stuff in those Web 2, but it's not going to be the same. It's not going to be like anybody can just jump in and like do these activities, right? And so I think the metaverse is really about creating like a digital nation rather than just like another 3D experience.
Yeah. So within that, it means like it's just complex economic models, right? That's what I think when I think metaverse. Just complex, just multiple angles for participation. Like our creators, developers who are spinning up new, different, types of experiences that reward participation, things like that. All these DJs that are making a reputation for themselves in the metaverse.
That's right.
It's much more competitive to do that in the real world. And then there's all those physical limitations of, having to travel and stuff, even though it's very lucrative, right? To be a musician or an artist in the real world. I mean, that's where the audience is at the moment. But, over time, I think people will start to gravitate more towards these virtual experiences just because, it's almost on par, I think. I mean,
yeah, I think you said it best though, that once a metaverse, specifically a Web3 metaverse, starts challenging the GDP of like a small nation, then it's going to start, sending red flags to these like, governance institutions. And, the digital space is going to actually compete, from a deep economic level to traditional governments. And especially with blockchain, we have the ability to govern, right, in a decentralized way. I mean, you got actual competitors to our current governing system. And so I think that's where I think the focus should be, the interest should be in like determining these standards. Because if you're talking about like interoperability of GLBs, like, come on, I mean, there's bigger things at stake here, I think, when it comes to interoperability and like setting these standards. But of course, that's just my opinion. We're definitely going to be dropping in our 2 cents in this forum for sure.
Yeah, until they either kick us out or invent some new policy against it or something. I don't know. We'll just keep it going until then. Because I don't know. I don't see any reason why this should be like a walled discussion.
Yeah, agreed.
Everybody should be, involved. Just because you don't have. The applications are open to anybody. I don't think you have to be an organ like a.
I don't think so either. I don't think you need to be part of an organization to like read through what's going on and participate. I don't.
I'm in. Yeah. So I guess having said that, somebody put the link in the chat to the Metaverse Standards Forum group, and then submit your own application. Just create it like a name of an organization, whatever, if you guys want to be part of the conversation, because I think it is going to be important. It's going to be. Yeah, it helped me identify myself, like where we are, like as far as the overall progress of this thing, and the fact that right now the overall consensus discussion right now is just defining the thing that we're all like working and contributing to, construct. Yeah. That says a lot. Like the fact that none of us can really pinpoint on what the hell it is we're even doing. Yeah. To me, that's like ground floor type, like you can't get any lower than that.
I totally agree.
Where the hell are we?
It probably won't surprise everybody listening here, since we're all from the Web3 area, but there's a lot of contention, including Web3 aspects in at least the definition of the metaverse, if not the standards at all for the metaverse. And there's a ton of contention just because we've seen like NFTs just explode, and the majority have been either scams or unsuccessful or whatever it is, like just not good projects. And so that's the connotation. That's the connection between the general public and NFTs and like what's actually valuable about Web3. And so they just have a bad perception of Web3 just because, they just seen a bunch of scams and like picture projects and like nothing of seemingly valuable content, right? So anyway, I found it funny that there's a lot of pushback on Web3 stuff. I think it's one of those like maturity stages,
Yeah, then we're like in the, you know, capitulation phase of a bear market, basically, where like it's cool right now to kind of hate on Web3.
Yeah, yeah,
right.
Yeah. That's true.
It's just like where the sentiment is at the moment, but
yeah,
that's fine.
it's like
as long as we're all aware that, you know, it shouldn't really influence anything. You know, it's just more of an opportunity, right, for us to.
That's right.
Bypass all that noise and just keep doing what we've been doing, you know?
Yeah.
Yep. At that point, you just turn off OpenSea, turn off the market charts, and just build and create and grind.
Yeah, that's another thing that I've noticed too, just kind of reading through the forum, is that people, because of the markets are down, they're aware that it's like building season. And so I think everybody's on the same page with that. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot to say about like the standards organization. I find it interesting it's happening now and not like 10 years ago or anything like that. But,
I think it's going to be tough to pinpoint standards, you know, across the board.
I think so too.
Yeah.
You know, talking about like internet standards or whatnot.
Yeah.
They're very, very strict. And you know, using the word standards in any form, it's not lightly.
Yeah,
so
I totally agree. And standards implies that there's a connected, you know, concept of all these different metaverses.
And people aren't going to be able to just put out a shit metaverse and have it pass and get that stamp check mark. Like, no, this is a legitimate standardized metaverse. So you're actually going to have to work for it. And
exactly.
So it will help. But yeah, it's going to be hard.
Yeah, and it's not going to be quick either. And it's going to be, you know, a couple of years before we come up with like anything of seemingly considered as standards.
One great topic of interest that was brought up to a lot of Decentraland members' attentions recently are creator royalties, like artist royalties for music creators and whatnot, and DJs, and this has turned into a big discussion actually. And you know, that would be a great example for a standardization
100%.
For a metaverse platform to incorporate.
Yeah, 100%.
Some kind of coverage.
Yeah, because I think ultimately, no matter whether it's Web 2 or Web 3, we're going to have to leverage a community to build out everything. Because I don't think any one company is going to do the metaverse justice if they build it by themselves. And so there does need to be a standard for royalties, for sure. I wonder, it's like, you know, when Apple set their price, and then Google came out with their app price. I think it was like 30% or something like that. You know, they set the standard pretty much. But I wonder what that standard is going to be for content like that for creators. But nonetheless, it's a very important thing to discuss for sure. And maybe that's like a topic that we should just bring up in the forum, my man, and start adding like fuel to what I think is going to be a very difficult discussion in terms of all the things that are happening within this forum.
Yeah, considering Metazone's application store model is very reminiscent to like these traditional Web 2 models you're bringing up.
That's right.
But so we have a very high platform we get to stand on as far as like what our opinions are, as far as new models, right? How do we adjust to the Web3 ecosystem and still like, you know, incentivize creation?
Yeah.
And
but you
a
know
sustainable ecosystem at the same time. Yeah. I mean, we have tons of thoughts and opinions on that.
100%. Yeah.
We haven't really been too open yet about that. I think within the next couple of months, we're going to be talking more about these concepts.
And that's where I think the Web3 space has like an edge over Web 2, and anything being built in Web 2 as far as the metaverse goes, is that with a token, you can do a ton of things different that Web 2 can't do. And so again, like Iman saying, we're definitely going to be talking about those more in detail as the months kind of unfold here. But there's a huge edge when it comes to the metaverse and Web 3 that Web 2 just can't really touch. And so I think that's where it's going to end up going. But it's probably not going to go in that direction without some sort of a battle of some sense, maybe a Roe v. battle. See who wins Web 2 versus Web 3.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of like bot projects these days.
Yeah,
a lot of them. You know, I think Ethermon recently partnered with one. Damn, I wish I remember the name of it. But you know, it looks a lot like Rovies, but it's a 2D version, right? It's another turn-based battle type game.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I could definitely see a end game vision like where all these battle bot games just kind
Hell
of
yeah.
merge in the metaverse at some point. There's just like this giant war
It's
between them all.
Yeah.
You know,
Ready Player One, baby.
Yeah.
yeah, battle it. Like
Storming the castle.
Yeah.
who's the best bot army, dude?
Yeah.
Luckily, we got the B1 crew behind us. So I guess Third Eye, now would be a good time to talk about like your experience as a. We could talk
Yeah,
about
I mean, it's great. People are excited. You can do a lot of different things while grinding for lube and gears. You know, you could just stand there and every 10 minutes check back in on your browser if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, what's your secret? Do you set like a timer on your phone to go back, or?
To be honest, like if I'm watching a movie or something, I'll be watching a movie in the metaverse and
nice.
I still forget about it. Like 20 minutes, 22 minutes will go by right past that cutoff time. And I'm like, damn it.
Yeah.
Just get sucked in.
Yeah, I mean, the brain is a tricky thing. It could go on like this autopilot, and then you just kind of forget about like what you're supposed to be doing. It's kind of weird. So yeah, I mean, you guys set up a Discord to bring in more delegates into the ecosystem. Like, talk about the challenges. Talk about like, you know, what sorts of things that we can kind of help with, and you know, anything that we can kind of do for support.
So currently, I mean, things have been going pretty smooth. Luckily, we have Tranquilo, and him and his, I don't know what he does to pull all the data he does, but he does it.
Yeah.
And he's very good at organizing it. Shout out, bud. Yeah. You know, Patrick, he's a hell of a manager. He makes sure that every Rovi that's out there being delegated is actually being used. You know, downtime's at a minimum. There are obviously minimum requirements to be met for the long-term, short-term contracts, whatever you want to run with to get the Rovies. But yeah, people are loving it. There's not much to complain about right now.
Yeah.
I love the pace that, you know, Oscar and you guys are running at. It was a little bit of lull for a little bit, and then the ground, it's still shaking from how hard you hit it running.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I like doing these weekly calls, because it holds us accountable, and then we're always like trying to figure out like what's the most impactful thing that we can release, and that's why, you know, we talked about like closing the loop with spectate to earn, and then you'll eventually earn accessories for your Rovies, and pretty quickly, like here in the next week or so, maybe by this Thursday, we'll be able to have some elements of a closed ecosystem where you can actually earn NFTs as you're spectating. To a certain extent, I think Tranquilo is the one with a hologram meta that is at level 4, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah. So
yep,
that took a ton of grinding, and then to get to level 20 is like exponentially more difficult. So yeah. So congrats to Tranquilo on like the dedication there. It's definitely not easy to accomplish. It takes not only an army of delegates, but it also takes like you know, owning the assets, like having land to deploy to. Like, there's a lot of elements involved, and I think that's another thing, going back to the whole metaverse discussion, is engaging with all the elements of the ecosystem, right? The landowner, like content owners, like meta owners, delegates, the actual owners of assets, like all these need to play a role. If they're not playing a role in your ecosystem, I think you're falling off. There's ways to integrate all these participants in the ecosystem, and so yeah, I mean, we're thinking about this all the time. The next release is going to be the accessories, and then after that, it's going to be, I think, the PvE meta.
Accessories are going to be great. I'm super stoked for that.
You're going to be great.
User-based economy. Has it been decided if you upgrade the fabricator up to a certain level, you'll be able to add your own 3D designs after, obviously running through?
I think that's the case.
Qualifications.
Yeah, I think that's the case. So you'll need to upgrade your fabricator to get to that point, and it's not going to take, you know, a ton of upgrades to get to that point, because we want to encourage creators. We want to encourage people to like upgrade as well. But yeah, that's going to be the main driver for the fabricator, is the user generated content. And what's cool is that content that you make, Third Eye, is going to participate in the game. Like, they're each going to have their own like unique attributes, and they're all going to be RNG rolls. So sometimes you're going to get a good roll. Sometimes it's not going to be a good roll, but they're all still assets, right? And so, yeah, I mean, we're trying new things with like this whole project and everything, and we want to test some assumptions that we have. But yeah, this is going to be exciting, and having the community participate is going to be a key component to everything that we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so of course we have good popes to give away to everyone on the call here, and then we're going to be giving away Third Eye's building here. Well, what's the title of this building? It's the Third Eye Tower. Perfect.
Have you done a proper walkthrough to it yet? I guess we could do that in a second.
Yeah, let's kind of load this up. So yeah, let's do the popes. All right, here.
Okay, you guys know the drill. If this is your first call, you do need an asset.
Yeah.
A Metazone one. So there is a process. Trey has a good Reddit post on like how to acquire those, but it's really not that difficult, right? Load into.
Shout out to Trey. He's always keeping things up to date.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah, that's what's.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say here's the password. It is Third Eye Meta. That's the password. And let me know if you can actually get this thing, because the bot may have gone to sleep. You were saying, Iman?
Just quick reply to Tranquila. Have we checked the land inventory? More land would help. I would instantly delegate to hollows. So we've identified the wallet where the land parcels, because I think we were allocated, correct me if I'm wrong, Will, 3 or 2 parcels of land from, I think
I want to say
first ever Decentraland Game Jam competition, right? Something like that.
Yeah,
or maybe
I want to say like 4 or 5.
Okay, so this is way back in the day where we had land parcels, but I think we only utilize like 1 or 2 for testing grounds.
Yeah.
And then we do most of our stuff at the tower. But yeah, we've identified where that land is. I think we could definitely unlock at least a couple more parcels. Yeah, they should be more than capable of hosting more programs. But yeah, like based on last week's conversation, that's obviously a huge focus, right? Is expanding the hosting side of the equation. So yeah, I mean, we're figuring out new incentive models to potentially do that. But I'm still under the impression that I don't think it's going to be that big of an issue once the full ecosystem is unlocked and realized. I think we're going to see a rush for landowners to acquire these assets and to participate. That's my hope, and what I'm thinking is going to happen.
Yeah.
And maybe we need more than 14. I don't know. I feel like we have a pretty good grounds like to test everything that needs to be tested, right? We're still in the alpha stage. So far, all these exploits are being identified and they're being handled, thanks to Oscar.
Yeah. I guess
everything I think is running pretty smoothly as far as what we were expecting, right?
Yeah, I think so too. It's not necessarily to expand because there's an issue or anything like that. It's more about like there's 14 landowners and most of Decentraland is kind of like left empty. And so we gotta figure out how to engage with the speculators who are just sitting on this land and not doing much with it, because
absolutely
they can still participate by also not doing much, right? Just connect your land to Metazone, get delegated assets, and you're earning lube and gears, right? Gears is going to be an on-chain token, so there's a lot of value with just like hosting content, right? So that's really the main motivation. All right, so it looks like Trey was able to get his his Pope there. Let's kind of run through this guy here. So I like the bright aspects of it.
Yeah, I thought your influence was definitely the Matrix.
Night mode is great on this scene.
Oh yeah. Anything illuminated is great at night.
Yeah, let me see if I can edit this. So I guess me running all this stuff is like slowing everything down. And I know you guys are having a worse experience kind of seeing everything, but let me
bringing us back to Robot Will days.
Yeah, man. It's
you remember those days?
Yep. Great times. Set it to
oh yeah, that's right.
23.9. What is it? 23.99. Yeah, that'd be.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
Oh.
23.59.
Woo! There we go.
Yeah, it does. You're right.
So this is optimal nighttime, Roby activity. So I mean, you can do whatever you want in these builds, right? Just because you could turn it into a full-on clubhouse location because it already has the auto dance
Yeah.
function.
Yeah, you could. I mean, you could turn the first floor into a little dance scene. You know, you move the hollows up to the next floor up if you don't want those there. Everything's interoperable within Decentraland due to Metazone's code, so you can move around your assets on the fly. It's really great.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. And I believe there's, metas out there that are, you could set perimeters to your land where that only allow access to certain, NFT holders. So it'd be cool if you wanted to create like a Rovi exclusive type experience. If you own like a Rovi asset of any kind, only these members are allowed to enter your domain. You don't have to be that exclusive, but it's always an idea. It's always good to look at ways to mix and match different metas, right? To create unique experiences. That's kind of like the whole beauty behind the meta ecosystem, right?
Yeah. The teleporter that you added here, Third Eye, is ingenious because it feels like this is a much bigger than a single parcel. Just because you're not taking up space with like stairs or anything like that. So
yep.
That's
Again,
really
I tried to maximize the playability and usage.
Yeah. Yeah, this is great. Yeah, so this is Third Eyes. I think this is going to be dropping in about 30 minutes. And yeah, so this is very well designed. I think it has, it's all about the function, right? And so, yeah, I mean, happy to have this build in.
Where's the location, Third Eye, to your main location, just so people can kind of get like a glimpse of like what the max potential of like,
that would be -115, -65.
There it is. So yeah, if you're wondering what a build like this can host, that's one of the best ideal representations of that. So, and I remember, man, when you first, when we were first having these discussions, probably 6 months or so ago, when we were kind of like theorizing what this like hosting ecosystem would look like, you had all these plans in mind, and it's actually here, which is the cool thing, hosting is no joke, like that's something we obviously strongly encourage. That's our whole model is to make hosts more impactful and powerful, like members of this ecosystem, because like Will was saying, we've got to wake up landowners somehow, right? To like not be dormant, like, just speculators in the
I mean, once they set it up, it's not like they really have to be that involved either. As Will was saying, put a land parcel up, hook it up to metazone.io, get some people to delegate. You don't even have to own the assets. Get them delegated to you. They're looking for land. Like Tranquilo said, he will gladly put up 3 hollows. Whoever has a free piece of land.
Yeah, I mean, look at your building right now, Third Eye. You have how many hollows is that? This looks like
it's quite a few, and we're going to start
like
to
20.
actually wind down on the count of them once we start leveling more up. We can handle over 30 Rovies at the moment.
Damn.
Wow. Dude, that's such a cool like headline for a zone. It's like, we can handle 30 Rovies. Like, if you bring your guild, all guilds are welcome.
You bring your guild, I'll bring the donuts.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, dude. All right. Okay, in a few minutes, we're going to be giving away that building from Third Eye and a couple Rovi NFT hats that your avatar can wear in Decentraland. Thank you guys for joining. There's quite a few of you in here.
We normally don't talk this much about Rovies during the Metazone call. So if you guys are just like Metazone hardcore OGs, like what the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
Definitely join us on Thursday, because this is normally what we do on Thursdays. But because Third Eye is such an OG and he's like, a giga host, and he's making metas to kind of like, again, empower new landowners to kind of replicate what he's created here. I guess we're all in Rovies today.
Yeah.
Why not?
Hell yeah.
We do have other creators that are dropping metas this week. We don't want to forget about that either.
Yeah. But before we jump there, let's talk about these updates. So we have a couple of things to mention here today. So Metazone updates: in meta asset payment splits earning. All games require this. Fabricator will be the first to use it. So we're going to be leveraging a smart contract that was developed by Oscar, And these smart contracts are going to be available to developers and creators to use to automatically split payments within their creation. So the fabricator is going to be one of the first to use it. So whenever people go and purchase like accessories from, Third Eye or the ones that we have like already available, they're going to be automatically split between the creator, the fabricator owner, the landowner. It's like everybody's involved in our ecosystem. So that's going to be one of the first things that we're going to be seeing from the fabricator. All right, next up is Metazone Ads UI update for creators. More updates will make it easier to add ads to your creation. So Third Eye, in your building, if you wanted to, you could leverage this recent update. Well, let's assume this was the building that we were showing earlier, but you can add like your own advertisement wall where people can go to the Metazone website and update that wall based on whatever ad that they want to show and pay like 20 mana.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Are you guys familiar with Versadex?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, we were just looking at that like a few minutes ago.
Yeah, they reached out and a few other. There's a lot of advertising kind of aspects coming up and popping up in the space recently.
Yeah, I mean, we just featured MetaView. They're going to be dropping a meta here like towards maybe like in less than a month or so. And
that's really cool though, how you can apply it. Off scene, is it kind of like an API type update where it just pulls it from it and you don't have to update the scene?
Correct, 100%.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So one of the valuable things here is like if you create a game, like we created Block Runner way back in the day, and when you're jumping over these walls, you're kind of facing one direction. You're facing a wall, and so. We were thinking, it's like, well, if people are going to be looking at the wall because they're jumping walls, we can just replace that with ads. And
stick an ad in their face.
Exactly.
Why don't you?
Exactly.
They have no choice but to be consumed.
You have to watch this.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that's going to be like the future of advertisement in the metaverse is like you kind of have
I can picture Facebook's metaverse, man. It's going to be like 80, the max amount of advertisements on screen before inducing an epileptic seizure. Like it's flashing lights everywhere, 85, maybe even 87% of your screen covered with ads.
Yeah, exactly like the first Ready Player One, right? That movie?
Yep.
The whole thing felt like ads, right? So I don't think it's going to be any different in the metaverse. It's all about sustainability, and I think it's not the ads themselves that are going to be ads are not that interesting, at least to me. I mean, there's some ads that are kind of cool, but what's cool about the metaverse is that you can make ads interesting to look at. And so I think that's what I'm looking forward to, instead of just like these generic, images and stuff. But Pepe God says, Versadex is great in my experience, doing a really good job. We have determined that we can take up over 80% of users' UI before seizures.
Yeah, Ready Player One.
Yeah,
hilarious. Nice. It's gonna happen though, especially on Facebook's end.
Hell yeah. So that's gonna be very, very interesting once we get to that point. I do think we're gonna be overrun by ads, but maybe that's another standard thing. Is like if you have a parcel, only 20% of it can be like ad focused and 80% is like everything else.
I mean, that is really where the revenue is, ad revenue, and it's a lot of money to be made. Right now, people rent out parcels. I mean, you can rent out and throw parties and make a little decent money, but when you start working with corporate companies and big hedge fund places for advertising, it's a lot more money to be made, and I could see that happening pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, you throw events here in your Club Loot here, and there's a lot of benefit here to like partnering with like advertising and advertisements, so that you can sustain anything that you're kind of putting on here. So like, we
actually have an event coming up. Speaking with the Blue Chip NFT project right now, and
nice.
We're going to be hosting a live DJ set, and I don't know if it will be this weekend or the following weekend. We're working out the details. I reached out yesterday.
Okay, great. No, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I listened to DJ Trax the other day. I was at his event, and great music, and things need to be sustainable. That's how you keep people like DJ Trax around and people contributing to the metaverse. So ads, unfortunately, is going to stick around, but at least we can figure out ways to make it cool. So. All right, so Tranquilo, he just linked the new Discord. So if you like to test Rovies, jump on to their Discord and you can be delegated some of these little guys. All right, so not too many other updates here. Next big update is asset attachment slots for creators, used by most games like Rovi and CZ. Asset attachment slots. So one thing that we need to modify to the, I guess, the structure of a Rovi is like the appendages, the attachments. So like you can have like something on its head, something on the arms, some a weapon being held by a Rovi. So that's gonna be an update here pretty soon. And then last up here, setting up Spectate to Earn as a service. So Third Eye, if you ever wanted to release your own token, you could at least leverage some of the tools that we created where people can come and hang out at your place and then earn the Third Eye token. So something to think about, kind of like add to the that diverse portfolio that you have going on here in your club here.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. You know, you can use those to rent out the parcel.
Exactly.
You know, instead of paying crypto, just paying the Third Eye token.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I think this is going to be a very common sort of component to the metaverse, is like everyone has their own token and like incentives to kind of leverage it for many aspects of it. But yeah.
We saw it. We started right with CZ years ago, and then we're utilizing now with Spectate to Earn. Golfcraft has their own version of it now, which is basically, be on the premises and earn, right?
Yeah.
As soon as I saw that, more developers starting to adopt these I hate using the word passive, but these kind of like these ways to extract value just by participating or being present. I think
Sure.
more and more projects are going to utilize these types of mechanics. And as soon as I made that, stumbled onto that realization, it's not just us doing these attempts, right? It's probably going to be widely adopted within the near future.
Yeah,
I
but
can
you know
definitely
what?
see like a gold rush type scenario of users wanting to take advantage of this. Like I have to be in the metaverse, right? Because
Sure,
I'm missing out on
sure.
all these potential tokens that I could just be earning just by being present.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that's
100%.
a huge game changer in my opinion.
I think one thing, there's sort of like a PSA has to be done here though, because you could have, I mean, if you know how to code, you can kind of set up these like Spectate to Earn kind of elements to your ecosystem. The problem with doing that though is if that's like your only component to your experience, it's going to be difficult to sustain the value for your token. And so the reason why we're confident in our like setup is that this is like 5% of the game, right? There's still 95% to experience and kind of leverage. And so this isn't going to be a drain just because people are just sitting here and like spectating, right? So
Yeah, but I don't necessarily think it doesn't have to be a game either. Like if you're
No, it
looking
doesn't.
for ways to add utility to like this token that you can incorporate, the Spectate to Earn as a service. We've already seen the emergence of social tokens becoming like I think within the next cycle, it's going to be a huge driver.
Sure.
Big influencers, whatever, utilizing these types of token models to onboard community activity and stuff like that. The same is going to happen in the metaverse, right? As long as there's an active community base, like, engaging, being present, attending events, all this stuff.
Yeah.
They're going to be, extracting value for themselves. And it's going to be up to the organizers, the hosts of these events or these communities to, I guess, incorporate different utility models for these tokens, right? And it could be anything as far as, just more exclusive levels to these types of events or whatever.
Sure.
Or, whenever Third Eye, onboards Snoop Dogg to perform, you're going to get exclusive NFTs, shit like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right, Third Eye?
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. And it's a lot more, how should I word this? Community-driven focus that's going to stick around, a true community that you're going to build at that point, and not just people that are fly-by-nighters for free stuff.
That's true.
We've been watching the evolution of onboarding, over the past year, 8 months, and seeing it progress from, Twitch streams to giveaways two people creating their own tokens, and such as Golfcraft and whatnot, and the passive to earn as you stick around. Yeah, I think it's great, and it's a lot more interactive, and people aren't just going to be asking and asking and asking anymore. They can just be present at that point, and then buy wearables that you put out with the tokens they earn, or something of that nature.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's sort of like this behavior is predictable, because when you go to and click on your avatar here on the top right, and you see a page of land locations, I think it's here. Like PWverse is like at the top, right? NFT World City, like it sort of incentivizes the landowner to like figure out ways to encourage people to be on their land so that they can, be on the front page. And when you're on the front page, more people see, your land location, they tend to come, right? And so there's like a reinforcing thing. And so it is important to kind of leverage all these like tools. But I guess my only thing is like, we all have to do our fundamental analysis in the whole metaverse as well. And we need to understand like the whole ecosystem before we like get too deep into like one ecosystem over another. That's all I'm saying. So having said that, let's do the giveaway. So we're going to be giving away one building from a Third Eye. Thank you, Third Eye, for kind of setting that thing up for us. And here we go. So there's going to be 4 winners. And all right, first one is Third Eye Tower. And then the last 3 will get wearable NFTs. Okay, now head over to the giveaway channel and interact with the bot. And then in a few minutes, 4 people will walk away with NFTs.
Cool. Yeah, Tiny Mouse, it's a reward token like every retailer or CC has.
Credit card company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
so yeah,
those things are interesting though, because they don't have like a cap supply or an infinite supply or anything like. There's no speculative component. You can only use it within their ecosystem, like say like Walmart bucks and stuff. Or
Walmart
like a gift
bucks.
card. Yeah, like a gift card from Walmart. Like you can only spend it in Walmart, right? So they have your money. They're like, okay, just pick the item that you want, and they make profit off of that, right? So
yeah, I mean, we definitely always believed like this whole earning economy is going to be a massive component to onboarding, a real adoption type movement for the metaverse. So it's taken us a while to get to this point. It's not easy, right? First, the right incentive models have to be discovered, and then it takes a lot of resources to actually develop these things and
right.
test out all these assumptions. So I think we're really close, to be honest. Like we're on that precipice, and I like to pride myself in like finding, or like I have this gut instinct, where, at identifying like these potential emerging like mania type events.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the market conditions are going to be, right in the near term to kind of like support this hunch that I got.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, like it's still, I think we're going to see like a slow growth phase within the metaverse where people are just going to naturally figure this stuff out, and developers especially will adopt it.
Yeah.
We're already seeing tons of new play to earn entrants in the ecosystem. The DAO is funding projects, pretty regularly. So I don't know, give it 6 to 12 months, dude. And I think,
especially architects, like Will was saying, a lot of the buildings that are put through to become metas on your platform, it's a great showcasing. You actually design some metas that you can sell in real life and design in real life and showcase it here in the metaverse. And then who knows, next thing you know, you're getting some huge company calling you and saying, you know what, let's make this happen. And it's a multi-million-dollar deal, and wowza.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. Little events like this. Yeah. So we need those headline grabbing moments, right? I remember we used to speculate back in the old days, before NFTs really popped off. Like
Like that looks structurally integral
Yes.
as well. Like
It does.
in real life, like that looks possible.
Yes.
possible.
Well, Fireworks Studio is a real architect, so this is absolutely possible.
That's great.
And we'll be highlighting fireworks next week, I believe.
Yeah, it's the next week. Of course, this week we have, so tomorrow is Fireworks Design Studio, and then Wednesday is Imagine X. And then we have on Thursday, Blockchain Architect. And then finally, Friday is going to be Live the Future. And so all these drops happen this week. There's going to be a couple more next week. And then on Monday, we're going to be featuring Fireworks Studio. You mentioned market conditions, Iman, and it's funny. I don't know if you guys have been on Twitter recently, but Sri Lanka is in a bit of a trouble.
Oh my gosh, man!
And then recently
the
today,
non-mainstream news that you see on Sri Lanka, they took over the president's house, kicked him out. He ran for his life.
Yeah. And then everybody was swimming in his pool.
Yep, having a party. It was crazy.
And then today,
what a hell of a palace, dude!
It is.
Oh yeah, man.
I think it was,
no wonder why they revolted.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And then today was in China. People are, their bank accounts are not being able to withdraw any funds. And it's been like that for a couple of weeks now. And now they're finally starting to protest / riot. And if you listen to our podcast / 20-minute videos on YouTube, we talk a little bit about this and how we predict, a lot of this is going to be spreading here in the next, I don't know, months to
easily.
years.
I mean, the food chain shortage itself.
Yeah.
All these truckers. I mean, look at the Netherlands and all the farmers.
Yeah.
I won't get into names and stuff, but there's a lot of big names that are buying a lot of farmlands up, not for using as growing facilities. It's going to get pretty rough.
So I've gotten some questions on why is this relevant? Like, why do we care about what's going on in China or Sri Lanka or anything like that? I feel like a lot of the stuff that's happening is more of a systemic situation rather than like a failure of a country or one country or another. And so we have to set some predictions on what we see is going to happen, because their system is a lot like the United States, if not exactly. And we need to be careful and start thinking about these situations, right? And so we like thinking about it just because we like to be prepared. It's definitely not a fun topic, but it's an important one for sure. And the Fed says tranquilo.
Definitely going right for the gut with that one, dude.
Yeah.
That's definitely like finding that vampire nucleus.
Yeah.
Like Dracula, that's basically what you're advocating for. And it's been not everybody, but it's been part of that whole libertarian movement since, I don't know, probably since 2008. End the Fed. That's like their main catchphrase, right? But yeah, of course you can't just end the Fed like that.
Yeah, and the Fed just kind of manifested, right? What was it, 1930s?
Somewhere around them.
Yeah.
Early 1900s for sure. Yeah, 1913.
1913.
So great book to recommend, The Fourth Turning.
The Fourth
It's all
Turning?
about seculums and seasons. And it's about history, though. History seasons.
Yeah.
About every 80 to 90 years, it repeats itself. There's 4 stages. Yep, that's it right there. It's very enlightening, and it's at the same time, it'll make you a little concerned. This was written in 97, as you can see right there, and everything is to the T on what's happening today.
Interesting.
We are in the 4th turning right now of a reset.
Yeah.
It's great book though.
Definitely gonna read that. 100%.
Yeah, same.
Dude, maybe we should do that, like a freaking book club.
A book.
That'd be fun, actually.
Yeah,
I'm totally down for that, dude. I need to read more stuff like this.
Yeah,
I just react to what I see like on Twitter, YouTube, and all that stuff. But this is cool because this is this was predicted almost 30 years ago.
That's right.
So
yeah, it's like George Orwell in a bottle.
That's right.
It's freaking insane.
Yeah.
It's cool though. It just shows how Will was saying, everything is kind of predictive. And with patterns, everything does repeat itself after a certain amount of time.
That's right. Yeah.
Even if that timeline may be longer than a lifespan you can endure, so you won't see it. But people track this stuff, and it does repeat.
Yeah, I was one of those kids in school where I hated history, and I didn't really understood this point at the time. But it's so fundamental, and it's so important to understand the history because, like you're saying, Third Eye, it repeats itself, and you need to be able to see the different the tea leaves, the fact that all these countries
read those tea leaves.
Yeah, all these countries are falling apart. Like, that's not because they've screwed up. It's more of a systemic issue. And so yeah, that's why I find it interesting. It's unfortunate, obviously, but yeah, something to be aware of, right? This isn't we're not isolated from each other. I mean, if you think about the pandemic, we are a network, right? Obviously, we're using the internet as a network, but humans themselves is a network. We all got sick, right? So I think pretty much everybody's gotten sick. Did you get COVID, Third Eye?
I never got tested. I work from home, so I don't really go out, but I've gotten sick a few times where I was laid up in bed with 104 fever. So
yeah,
probably.
You definitely got it. Yeah.
I just chalked it up as the flu and drank a bunch of tea and water and got better.
I mean, you got COVID too, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
For sure, dude. So I definitely felt that network without a doubt. So we had to separate a little bit of the network the last couple of weeks, but
yeah, we did.
Yeah, our whole family, I got 2 kiddos and the wife, we're all just up in bed for about 3 or 4 days in our rooms. The big TV, the fan on, we're all sweating, dying. Luckily no one died though. Gosh.
Yeah.
Not really something to laugh about.
No, for sure.
That was a nervous chuckle.
Yeah. Speaking of nervous chuckles, we got winners.
Congrats, but nobody laugh at Alan, dude. Those are legit recommendations, dude.
Wait. What is Alan saying? Vacuum sealer, Mylar bags, and oxygen absorbers. Yeah, rice and beans. Rice and dried beans should have a 25-year shelf life stored properly.
That and tuna fish, if you can splurge a little bit.
Yeah.
Tuna fish is a little more expensive, though.
Alan knows what's up, dude.
Yeah, we've talked about
laughing, dude.
Yeah, we've talked
tuna
about
fish and
Mylar
spam.
bags.
Spam's always a go-to. The low sodium spam, though.
Yeah. All right, let's call out the winners here. So we have RB guy. We have Tranquilo. Congratulations, Tranquilo, with the wearable NFT. Misael Milan, this individual has won before. And then finally, Gummy Bear. Congratulations, guys. RB Guiao has won the Third Eye Tower. Congratulations. All right, another round of applause. This time with 70 entrants, so that's quite a few, you guys. Typically, we have around 50 or so. So yeah, this is quite a showing today. All right, Third Eye, thank you, of course, for showing up. Hopefully we can get together again on Thursday to talk more Rovies and economic systems, sustainability in the metaverse. Thank you guys for joining up. Iman, of course, thank you for always joining these calls. Let's see, any last shout-outs here? Congratulations, Gummy Bear, there you are. Niao, always in the metaverse grinding. Let's see, Neb, thank you for joining as always. And yeah, so we're going to be doing this again next Monday, 10 p.m. UTC. We're going to be hosting Fireworks Studio, of course, his NFT giveaway. We're going to be giving away more wearable NFTs. And then on this coming Thursday, we're going to be talking about all Rovies, 10 p.m. UTC as well. Yeah, thank you guys for showing up, of course. And if there's no last final words, Third Eye.
Always a pleasure. Cheers, everybody.
All right, man.
Yeah, everyone take care. Stay COVID negative. And yeah, everybody read The Fourth Turning, dude.
Yeah.
I definitely want to discuss that with you guys. But, don't get too spooked.
There is a quick 10-minute YouTube kind of run through if you want to just take the quick route.
always good to find those.
All right.
Talk to you later.
Thank you.
Later, man.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. That's funny.
Cool.
All right. Yeah, dude. I'm definitely